Ever feel like you're just stuck in a rut? You know, like when you see a plant and it's been in the same pot for like way too long.
Hmm.
What if I told you the key to unlocking your potential might be simpler than you think?
Oh, okay. I like where you're going with this.
Like, what if it's hidden in plain sight?
Okay.
Just the environment you're in.
That's fascinating, isn't it? This whole idea that our surroundings can either be like this really fertile soil that just nourishes us, or they can hold us back.
Totally. And that's actually what we're diving into today with this piece, The Fourth Blessing,
Mm-hmm.
living in the right place. It's
Yes.
really about how our surroundings, like in a big picture sense,
Mm-hmm.
can seriously impact our well-being, even our potential.
It's almost like feng shui for your life.
Oh, I like that.
But it goes way deeper than just where you put your furniture.
Okay.
Think about like a banyan tree.
Huge ones.
Exactly, those majestic, sprawling trees. Now imagine cramming one into a tiny little pot.
Oh, it'd be so sad.
It might survive for a bit, but it's never going to reach its full potential, right?
Right? It's a powerful image.
Yeah.
Kind of like us sometimes.
Yes, that's
We
exactly
could be stuck in these environments that are just not letting us fully bloom.
right.
But then you picture that same banyan tree planted out in the open, its roots going deep, its branches reaching for the sky.
Now you're getting it. That's what we're talking about.
That feels better already.
It's not just about our physical homes, though, right? This applies to our workplaces, the communities we're part of, even our inner world.
Oh, that's interesting.
It's really about recognizing all those different places we inhabit and being intentional about choosing the ones that help us thrive.
So the source we're looking at actually breaks down this idea of place into 4 layers.
Okay.
And get this, it even ranks them by importance.
Oh, this is where it gets good.
Right. Like most people would think a comfy house or an exciting city is like the most important.
Right.
This source says, nope, you're wrong.
Flips the script.
It starts with Dharma.
Yes.
So for those of us who haven't quite reached like Buddha level enlightenment yet, what does that even mean?
That's a great question. Basically, in this context, Dharma is all about our inner environment. So our spiritual well-being, our values, even our access to wisdom. It's like that inner compass guiding you towards peace and purpose, no matter what's going on around you.
So it's not so much about having that perfect address,
Not necessarily.
more about having your own internal foundation.
You got it. It's about cultivating a positive mindset, that strong sense of self-seeking knowledge and wisdom.
Yeah.
You can be anywhere and still live an auspicious life if you focus on that inner peace and wisdom.
I love that. It's
Mm.
really empowering. It's
Yeah.
like you don't have to wait for that perfect environment to just appear.
Right.
You can actively work on that inner strength and clarity.
Absolutely.
Okay, but if Dharma is number 1, what comes next in this place hierarchy?
Next up is people, the community you choose to surround yourself with.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
Think about it. We are so influenced by the people we hang out with.
For sure, being around kind, supportive people who want to grow can make a huge difference in your life.
Huge. It's like their energy, their perspectives, their actions, it all rubs off on us, whether we realize it or not.
It's like picking your personal board of advisors for life.
Exactly.
Love it. Okay, so we've got our inner compass, the Dharma, and our supportive crew, the people. What's next?
Then comes the practical stuff. Resources.
Yeah.
Having access to what you need to actually thrive, good food, clean water, job opportunities, that kind of thing.
The essentials.
Yeah.
It's pretty tough to focus on personal growth when you're always struggling to just make ends meet.
Exactly.
So that leaves.
At the bottom of the list, and this might surprise you, the physical environment.
Wait, really?
Yeah?
Our homes, our offices, the cities we live in, all of that comes last.
The concrete jungle comes last.
Wow, I definitely would have thought the physical environment would be higher up. We put so much emphasis on having a nice apartment or living in the trendy neighborhood.
It's true. We do.
This is making me rethink some things.
It's interesting because the text actually compares Japan and Thailand to illustrate this point.
Oh, okay. Tell me more.
So Japan, they've got limited space. They're dealing with earthquakes, typhoons.
Yeah. Not exactly the easiest place to live.
Right. They've got a pretty challenging physical environment, you could say.
That's putting it lightly.
But here's the thing. They've also built this incredibly strong social fabric. There's a huge emphasis on education. They've got this legendary work ethic.
It's true.
Despite those environmental challenges, they've achieved some pretty remarkable things.
It's kind of inspiring when you think about it.
It is.
Like they haven't let a tough environment limit their potential at all. Okay, so how does Thailand fit in here?
So Thailand is described as having a more naturally abundant environment. It's more comfortable in a lot of ways.
Tropical beaches, amazing food, beautiful temples.
Exactly. It's considered a pretty desirable place to be.
I can see why.
But the excerpt suggests that maybe there's less emphasis on that collective drive or discipline that you see in Japan.
That is interesting. It's not about saying one country is better than the other, obviously. It's more like realizing that a comfortable environment doesn't automatically equal collective success or happiness.
Exactly. And it brings us right back to the importance of that inner foundation dharma.
There it is again.
The excerpt argues that even if a country doesn't have the highest material wealth, if its people have a strong spiritual foundation, they're more likely to experience real happiness.
So inner peace is the real luxury here.
That's the idea.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, but let's shift gears for a second.
Okay.
I love that this source doesn't just like drop these big ideas on us and then disappear.
Yeah.
It actually gives us some practical advice too, like how to make our own home environments more auspicious.
Yes, it does.
Tell me everything.
Well, they talk about keeping your home clean and organized.
No surprise there.
Right.
Clutter-free mind, clutter-free home. I get it.
Yeah.
But it's got to go deeper than that, right?
Oh, it does. It talks about making your home a sanctuary
Ooh, I like that.
for both your physical and mental well-being. So think, calming colors, natural light, maybe even a little meditation corner if you have space.
Creating a space that really reflects you.
Exactly. It's about being mindful of what we surround ourselves with. And not just the physical clutter, but things that inspire us, uplift us, you know?
So it's not just decluttering, it's being intentional about what you're inviting into your home.
I love that.
Yes, and they even talk about the images and books we have in our homes.
Oh, interesting.
Like, choose things that spark joy, inspire creativity, or promote a sense of peace.
Curating your environment.
Exactly.
Okay, this is where I think things get really interesting. The source talks about this idea of material wealth versus spiritual wealth.
Yeah, that's a big one.
It is. It's so relevant, though, right?
It is. They're basically saying that just accumulating more stuff doesn't actually make you happy.
Which I think we all know deep down.
Right.
It's like they're cautioning us against chasing material wealth if it comes at the expense of our spiritual growth. It reminds me of this article I read. The author was talking about how so many people, even in wealthy countries, feel kind of empty.
Like they're so focused on work and buying things that they've lost touch with that spiritual side of themselves.
It's like they're living in this gilded cage of their own making.
Exactly.
And the excerpt emphasizes the importance of balance. It's not about rejecting material things entirely, but it's about understanding that real wealth comes from nurturing both our inner and outer worlds.
Which brings us right back to Dharma.
There it is.
That inner foundation of wisdom and peace and purpose, that's where the real wealth is.
Exactly. It's about recognizing that even in a world that's obsessed with more, true fulfillment comes from cultivating that sense of inner peace.
Aligning your actions with your values?
Yes, and contributing to something larger than yourself.
Okay, so we've covered a lot here,
Mm.
from our inner landscape to the physical environment. And that really interesting comparison between Japan and Thailand, that whole comparison between Japan and Thailand has really stuck with me.
Yeah.
It really got me thinking about how differently we approach place and well-being depending on our culture.
Yeah.
What parts of that comparison stood out to you?
You know, it's a good reminder that there's no magic formula for living an auspicious life.
Right.
What works for one person and one culture might not work for another. The important thing is that we're making conscious choices about the things that contribute to our growth, both internal and external.
It's like we get to choose our own soil in a way.
Exactly.
You can tend to it, nurture it, and create the best conditions for ourselves to grow.
Yes. And this brings us back to something the excerpt talked about. Remember those 4 layers of place?
Yeah.
Well, they really emphasize that Dharma, that bedrock of inner peace and wisdom, is the most important element of all.
So even if everything around you isn't perfect, even if life gets messy, and it always does,
Right.
having that strong inner foundation can help you handle it all.
Exactly. And that's really empowering, don't you think? Because it means that anyone can experience true auspiciousness, that feeling of living in the right place, no matter what their external circumstances look like.
It's not about waiting for the perfect job or the perfect house.
Right.
It starts from within.
It does. It's about actively cultivating a sense of inner peace, seeking knowledge, making choices that align with your values, and nurturing the connections that make life richer.
That's beautifully put.
And I think that's what makes this concept of living in the right place so powerful. It's not just about geography or how much stuff you have.
Right. It's deeper than that.
It's about finding that harmony between your inner and outer worlds, a sense of purpose.
It's about feeling connected to yourself, to the people around you, to something bigger than yourself.
Exactly.
Creating a life that feels both grounded and expansive.
I love that.
And honestly, I think that's the perfect note to end on.
I agree.
So listeners, as you go about your week, we'd like to leave you with this. What does auspiciousness really mean to you? And what's one small step you can take today to cultivate a little bit more of it in your own life? Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep.